Hello and welcome to Moment with Children. So glad you're here with me today. I wish I could see you though, because I'm trying to remember. How many of you guys wear glasses? I wear glasses. I wear these glasses to help me see things that are far away. So like signs as I'm driving down the road, or if I go to the movie theater, I like to sit in the very back row. So I need my glasses to help keep the screen from being a little bit blurry. But as I've gotten older, I need glasses for other things. I need different glasses. I need glasses that help me read things that are right in front of me. Otherwise, I spend all of my time going like this until I can see it again. And I need these glasses so bad that I keep a pair here at my workstation at home. I keep another pair by my chair in the living room. I keep a pair by my bed, so when I'm reading at night. And I have a pair in my car. I have a pair in my purse, and I believe I have two more pair that are roaming around here. And I also have a pair at work. Because otherwise, when I look down like I'm doing right now, looking down and looking at my Bible, I can't read the words. They're blurry. So I put these on, and all of a sudden, my vision is clear and I can read what's right in front of me. So today's story is about two somebodies actually, who couldn't see very well. They were missing something that was right in front of them. So for those of us that wear glasses, we can kind of understand, because without our glasses, we have blurry vision. These guys, while they didn't have blurry vision, were not seeing clearly. The story comes from the book of Luke, chapter 24, verses 13 and 35. And our two friends were walking from Jerusalem to Emmaus. Now remember, they didn't have cars back then. It wouldn't take us very long to drive 7 miles. They had to walk. And I looked it up because I was kind of curious how long it would take an average person to walk 7 miles. And it looks like it would take us approximately 3 hours. So remember that in our conversation today as they're walking. So we know the name of one of our friends. His name was Cleopas. Cleopas and the unnamed person were walking down the road to Emmaus when all of a sudden there was another person with them. Where did that person come from? I don't know. I have no idea where that person came from. But this person is all of a sudden there with them, and they start talking. Because, they got 3 hours to walk, so they got plenty of time to talk, right? So they're walking down the road, and this person asks them why they're sad. Because they seem a little sad, despondent. They're not talking very happy. And this person doesn't understand. And Cleopas is like, how do you not know what's going on? Have you not heard? Where have you been? Do you know who Cleopas is talking about? He's talking about Jesus. And he tells the stranger how at the beginning of the week, they'd had this great celebration where people were throwing their palm branches down on the road and their cloaks and trying to make a clear path for the king as he rode into town on a donkey. They were so excited at this time because they were so sure that this king was going to save them from the Roman emperor, to free them. But by the end of the week, this king ends up arrested and beaten and hung on the cross to die. And now it's 3 days later, and the men are sad because the women had gone to the tomb to finish Jesus's burial, to put the spices on him and all of that kind of stuff, and he wasn't there. And the women told these men that there was an angel there saying that Jesus was still alive. But they hadn't seen Jesus. They didn't understand how somebody that was still alive or who had died could still be alive, even though Jesus had showed them by bringing Lazarus back to life. But that's not the point. The point was is they hadn't seen Jesus. And so they didn't believe that Jesus could still be alive. And our Bible tells us in verse 25, then Jesus said to them, "You foolish people, you find it so hard to believe all that the prophets wrote in scriptures? Wasn't it clearly predicted that the Messiah would have to suffer all of these things before entering his glory?" So then at this time, Jesus took them through all the writings of Moses and all the prophets of the Old Testament, what we call the Old Testament, explaining to them the scriptures about Jesus and about the Messiah and about how this king was going to save them. Through all this time, they eventually arrive in Emmaus, and the two invite Jesus to come have dinner with them. It's getting late. It's time to eat. They've been on the road. They've been listening to what he's had to say, and they want this stranger to come with them and enjoy a meal with them. And he agrees. He agrees to go with them. And while they're eating, this stranger took the bread and blessed it. Then he broke it and he gave it to them. And suddenly their eyes were opened and they recognized him. Who was the stranger on the road with them? That's right. It was Jesus. Jesus was standing right there with them. Jesus was walking with them. Jesus was talking with them. Jesus was teaching them, just like he'd done previously. But they couldn't see him for Jesus. It took the action of breaking the bread and blessing it before they understood who was there with them, before their vision became clear and they could see. Join me in prayer. God, thank you for sending Jesus to us. Thank you for having all of the prophets of old who could explain to us what was coming. And for those who wrote the lessons and the stories down that Jesus taught us, including his crucifixion, his death, and his resurrection. Help us to see clearly the things that you want us to see. And all God's children said, amen. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week right here. Bye-bye.